Part 35. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 341. Yang Sisi walked to the gate. As soon as he walked out of the gate, he saw Qin Yancy standing on the opposite side of the road. Standing in front of him was a tall girl. Looking from the side, she looked quite delicate. Looking at him with a smile. Is this what he meant by getting some air? Humph, Yang Sisi turned around and went back. As he climbed the stairs, Qin Yancy's clear voice came from behind, "Daughter-in-law, are you looking for me?" Yang Sisi paused and turned around to deny, "No, I went downstairs to throw away the garbage." "Where have you been?" Qin Yancy couldn't hide the smile on his face. "I saw you just now, are you jealous?" Yang Sisi stopped pretending. "Why are you jealous?" "I was worried that if you invited me over, that girl would know that I am your partner and misunderstand that I would stare at you all day long." She immediately felt embarrassed and hit his arm. "You are trying to trick me." Qin Yancy hissed, "Can't you be gentler? Hitting someone really hurts." "Does it hurt? Can you call me back?" Yang Sisi stretched out her arm in front of him. Qin Yancy, how could he give it up? "I don't hit women." Yang Sisi, who punched Li Yue in the eye. "Then I won't touch you next time." A smile appeared on Qin Yancy's lips. Yes, he took the initiative to explain, "The girl just now is from teacher Jiang's house. I saw her walking downstairs from the main road. I called her and she said to come here. I went to see her classmates and stood outside to chat for a while." Yang Sisi nodded, almost invisible. "So that's it. Why don't you ask her to come and sit at home?" "She was worried that she wouldn't be able to catch the last train, so she refused." The two of them arrived home talking. After closing the door, Yang Sisi mentioned today's experience and said discouragedly, "I thought hair growth cream was a blank product on the market and would sell well. Who knows, no one would want it? And on the street, 9 out of 10 people had thick hair. The remaining one with thin hair is the uncle. Most of the young people are bald in my father's workplace." Qin Yancy consoled him, "It's not easy to use hair growth cream. Let's find another way." "I'm not willing to give in," Yang Sisi said. It was time-consuming and laborious to make, and she even learned how to purify and dilute it, and mix the medicinal materials in proportion. "It would be a pity to give up," she said as if she had made up her mind. "Keep persisting, persistence is victory." "Is there anything I can do to help?" Qin Yancy hoped that he could play some role. "You can help me if you study well," Yang Sisi said with great expectation. "In the future, I will be the most powerful person in the shopping mall, and you will be famous in the academic world. We will join forces." Qin Yancy couldn't help laughing. "Okay, I'll try my best." "What will happen to you if you become the person you want to be?" "I have a child and inherit the family property. I don't want everything I have worked hard for to fall into the hands of outsiders." Qin Yancy, "What if the child has mediocre qualifications, cannot shoulder the responsibilities you give him, or is a prodigal?" Yang Sisi said seriously, "How can you know that your child's qualifications are mediocre if you don't give birth? And whether a child is a prodigal depends on how his parents educate him. You tell me, there are no unscrupulous children in the world, only irresponsible parents." Qin Yancy was convinced. "We will prepare it tonight." "Can't do it tonight, I'm having my period." Qin Yancy, come again? The moonlight is hazy. After Yang Sisi finished eating, she continued to make hair growth cream. When adding the essence of the fragrant flower, she specifically asked Qin Yan to go out for a while. Qin Yancy went downstairs and was stopped by Aunt Sun. "Yancy, is anyone in your family sick? It smells like Chinese medicine." "My family, no one is sick, and no medicine has ever been cooked." "I thought it came from your family." Aunt Sun sniffed. "Now it smells delicious again. The wind passes through the corridor." Qin Yanxi smelled the scent of fragrant flowers, and his head felt like it was going to split, so he had to step away. Ying Sisi upstairs completed the filling, put away the hair growth cream, ventilated the room to disperse the smell, smoked mugwort again, and went downstairs to find Qin Yanxi. Qin Yanxi leaned against the pine tree beside the road, lowering his head and not knowing what he was thinking. ACI Ying Sisi walked up to him. The weather is hot now. You can lean against the tree and you won't be afraid of bugs running into you. She spotted the cage on the ground with her sharp eyes. She took a closer look and saw that it was a mouse. It was the size of a palm and the color of its coat. Yellow and white. Where did you catch the mouse? It's the first time I've seen such a cute mouse since it's grown so big. Qin Yanxi, this is a pet rat. The neighbor in the building said it was given as a gift. He doesn't want to keep it anymore and plans to give it away. I thought you would like it, so I asked for it. Ying Sisi is very surprised that mice can also be pets. I quite like it, but I don't know how to take care of it. The neighbor said that eating grass, dried or fresh, is fine. Ying Sisi gained insight and said, then I will borrow a sickle tomorrow to go cut in the suburbs. Qin Yanxi picked up the cage and went home with Ying Sisi. He placed the mouse on the balcony and returned to the guest room. Ying Sisi found a piece of cloth and put it in the cage, made a small nest for the mouse, and put water on the side. Daughter-in-law, help me peel an apple. Ying Sisi went into the kitchen, opened the cupboard with clean hands, picked out the largest apple, peeled it, cut it into segments, put it on a plate, and brought it into the guest room. When she was about to throw away the core, she thought of the mouse in the cage. Put the core into the cage. The mouse was holding it and eating very enthusiastically. Qin Yanxi finished the fruit, put it back on the plate, and looked at Ying Sisi. Daughter-in-law, stop looking at it and go to bed early. Hey. Ying Sisi went back to the room to get a change of clothes, pack up and go to bed. Woke up in the middle of the night by a creaking sound. Her hearing was already better than ordinary people, and at this moment, the voice seemed to be in her ears. It's so noisy. There's a reason why the neighbors don't want it? I'll put it in the corridor. Qin Yanxi stood up. Ying Sisi grabbed him and said, there is a wild cat in the family's courtyard. Will it be taken away? Let it go home. I will get the mouse into the courtyard tomorrow. I will go there and feed it once a day. It was just in time to see when Lu Yuechun would move out. Qin Yanxi, raising mice is to relieve your boredom. If you send them away, what else can you do to relieve your boredom? Wouldn't it be nice if we moved back to the courtyard? Qin Yanxi, she really plans to go back. But it seems good to go back and live there. Someone will cook the food and clean the house. The wife and he can both have their hands free. Ying Sisi listened to the sounds outside, adjusted her sleeping position, and tried to fall asleep. The next day I opened my eyes and met Qin Yanxi's eyes. She was frightened and moved her body back. When did you wake up? How long have you been looking at me? I just woke up, can't I watch? Ying Sisi said, okay, I'll go see the mice. She lifted the quilt and got out of bed and walked to the balcony. Qin Yanxi, he looks at her, and she looks at mice? I should have known better not to bring that rat back. Ying Sisi walked to the cage. The mouse was lying on its side inside, motionless. I just thought it was amazing. ACI, come and see, this mouse sleeps like a human being. After a while, Qin Yanxi came closer and said, why does it look like it's dead? He stretched out his hand to fiddle with it, but it was already frozen. His lowered eyes and Ying Sisi looked at each other in confusion. After a long time, he asked, are the animals you raised in the village alive? Starting from this chapter, it's a chapter of 2,000 words. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 342. The previous pearl bird became smelly while it was hatching. The mouse died just after arriving home. If she gives birth to a child, will she be able to raise it? Ying Sisi. What does it mean? What will she raise and die for? Of course he's alive. However, the livestock in the village belong to a large group, and everyone takes turns feeding them. Isn't it because I gave it some apple cores? Qin Yanxi smiled helplessly. Apple seeds are poisonous. Ying Sisi felt guilty. No one has ever told me, why are the pigs in my hometown okay after eating apple cores? The pig is large in size. Ying Sisi, next time, forget it, I might as well not raise anything. As long as the children are raised well. Ying Sisi was discouraged from having children when he told her about it. She is busy with business now, and will learn to drive for a while. If she becomes pregnant, her driver's license quota will be cancelled, right? She cannot give up her own affairs just to have a child. Qin Yanxi threw away the mouse and returned the cage to the neighbor. Ying Sisi has already prepared breakfast when I get home. He went out after eating. Sisi should stay at home and make hair growth cream. At the end of a busy day, use up all the materials. Looking at the cabinets full of hair growth creams, I feel a sense of accomplishment. But when I think about sales, immediately his face became sad. After a moment, he encouraged himself, I'll start setting up a stall tomorrow. It's good to be able to do whatever you can. She cleaned up the smell in the house and went downstairs to throw out the trash. It's time to get off work. To be on the safe side, she threw into the bin outside the family yard. This scene was seen by Li Yue, who came to find her. The garbage is thrown outside. Is there anything shameful in it? She opened the bag and smelled of Chinese medicine. Ying Sisi didn't look sick. Is it Qin Yanxi? Qin Yan can't do it anymore. Does he need medication to maintain his condition? She couldn't help but smile proudly and shouted loudly, Ying Sisi. Ying Sisi looked back, her pupils narrowed. When did Li Yue come? What are you doing at the garbage house? She said calmly, what are you doing? Is it true that Qin Yanxi is ill? Yes, he is sick and has a dual personality, I know that. Li Yue was stunned. You know? Do you know the meaning of dual personality? Ying Sisi said lightly, I know, he is actually two people. Do you think I will be afraid of him and stay away from him? You are going to be disappointed. No matter what he becomes, I will accept him. Because he is a trustworthy person no matter what, unlike you, who is both superficial and evil-minded. You are evil. You asked Feng Shuangzi to dig out his excrement, and you made it clear that you wanted to delay his future. Ying Sisi said bluntly, without me, his future depends on you. Because of my arrangements, he can realize his own value. Instead of being grateful to me, you are questioning and ungrateful. It's worth your mother's head, what's the use of taking out the shit? Li Yue was slapped by Ying Sisi. Ying Sisi warned fiercely, next time you dare to be disrespectful to my mother, see if I don't tear your mouth apart. She left. Li Yue was stunned. When she came to her senses, Ying Sisi had already walked away. She was so angry that her legs ached. Damn it, you've gone too far. She caught up with Ying Sisi and said, I order you to have your father-in-law expel Feng Shuangzi immediately. Ying Sisi, the order is invalid. Ying Sisi left Li Yue and went home. Since she had to set up a stall tomorrow, she had an early rest that night. Before dawn the next day, we began to prepare for setting up a street stall. Last time, her goods were confiscated at the black market in the east of the city. Fortunately, a CI found them for her. What would happen if it was confiscated again this time? She plans to go to the west of the city to try her luck. About 8 o'clock, Ying Sisi carried her bag to the place. Find a less conspicuous location to set up a stall. Happily for a long time, many people joined in the fun, but when everyone heard about the price, They all found it too expensive. At noon, she had not yet placed the order. Seeing that the number of customers visiting the black market was getting thinner and thinner, she planned to close the stall and leave. When filling the last jar of hair growth cream, a sharp voice came. Ying Sisi. Ying Sisi was annoyed. You installed a radar on me? You follow me wherever I go. Follow me. Are you setting up a street stall? Li Yuwei's pupils were shaking. Her previous guess was correct. Ying Sisi is the one doing business. Feng Shuangzi is just a follower. They get married and don't have children. Could it be that they are a fake couple? Feng Shuangzi kept calling Ying Sisi's daughter Raxhasa. Actually, it's fear. He did not dare to touch Sisi at all. Thinking of this, she was frightened. You actually. Ying Sisi was too lazy to listen to what the other party said and left with her backpack. Li Yuwei grabbed her. Have you made money? Did you earn 1,000 yuan? Feng Shuangzi in his previous life earned about 1,000 yuan during this time. Passers-by stopped to listen when they heard the words. 1,000 yuan? What can a little girl do to earn 1,000? Ying Sisi found it incredible that Li Yuwei not only knew about Asi's dual personality, but also knew about her earning 1,000 yuan. But from what Li Yuwei said, I only understand the 1,000 yuan. She took off Li Yuwei's hand and said, I don't understand what you said. Li Yuwei grabbed her again. He said stubbornly, tell me, did you earn 1,000 yuan? Ying Sisi gave her a strong swing, and Li Yuwei took 2 steps back. Crazy. Did I earn it from you? There are 1,000 yuan, and I came here to set up a stall. Ying Sisi ran away. Li Yuwei's legs seemed to have wind, and she caught up with Ying Sisi. You must have earned 1,000, right? Are you and Qin Yanci a fake couple? Qin Yanci has a dual personality, and Ying Sisi is such a traditional person. I was married to Feng Shuangzi in my previous life, and would rather be a fake couple with him than get divorced. It is enough to show that the idea of consistency is engraved in the bones. Can you accept Qin Yan's speech? Ying Sisi made sure that Li Yuwei was the only one around her and stopped running away. She took some time to say, why are you so interested in our couple's affairs? As you said, I earned 1,000 yuan and we were a fake couple. How did you know that? Li Yuwei was stunned. Her guess was all right. So Ying Sisi is the richest man, and it was Ying Sisi who single-handedly founded the Jinxia group. She looked at Ying Sisi again. Since marrying Qin Yanci, she seems to have completely broken away from the country atmosphere and become an exquisite vase. She could never believe that such a woman would become the richest man in Yanjing City in 2 years. Ying Sisi observed Li Yuwei's expression. Seems to be clear? Li Yuwei, what do you know? Tell me. Otherwise, you won't be able to leave today. She put her hand on Li Yuwei's shoulder, and quietly tightened her arms around his neck. Li Yuwei immediately had difficulty breathing. You. Ying Sisi said coldly, do you know how I dealt with Feng Shuangzi before? She described the incident in a subtle way, and Hu Niu and his mother, they were all done by me. What should I do to you? Woolen cloth. Please vote. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 343. Li Yuwei struggled unmoving, and for the first time she experienced a power more terrifying than Qin Yanci's. It hurts. Help me. Ying Sisi looked around and saw that the whole alley was deserted. She pricked up her ears and listened quietly. There were only the faint voices of nearby residents, which were far away. She said boldly, it hurts, no one can save you, just ask me to let you go. She took out the scissors with one free hand, pointed the tip at Li Wei, and put it in front of his eyes. Li Wei was so scared that she collapsed. I. What? Tell me honestly why you know Acee's dual personality, why you know that I earn 1,000 yuan, and why you target Acee and me. If you stutter, I will sentence you to lying. This scissor, I can't hold it anymore. Ying Cixi relaxed her wrist slightly so that Li Wei could speak. I said, take the scissors away. Li Wei was frightened. Ying Cixi is even more terrifying than Qin Yanxi. Qin Yanxi took action directly, and Ying Cixi was tortured. Although it has not been carried out yet, this action is too scary. She swallowed her saliva and said, I am a person who has lived a new life. In your last life, you were married to Feng Shuangzi. Within 2 years, Feng Shuangzi became the richest person in Yanjing City. After decades of hard work, the Jinxia Group, founded by oneself, became one of the top 500 companies in the world. And he did not have a child, but adopted a boy. As for me, I married Qin Yanxi. He was a violent man and failed to get into college. I also accidentally discovered his secret during our long-term relationship. The two of them communicated through letters. In order to stimulate Ying Cixi, Li Wei dropped what she thought was bombshell news: Qin Yanxi disappeared when he was 37 years old. The Qin family announced that he jumped into the river and died. If you need a husband who is on the surface, it is best to let someone else do it. Ying Cixi's heart tightened and her palms became sweaty. Missing. Died by jumping into a river? He can swim. When a person is in the water, he will instinctively swim to the shore. He cannot jump into the river unless someone harms him. She said calmly, how about replacing it with your Feng Shuangzi? Li Wei. You lied to me. Ying Cixi pointed the scissors and presented them to Li Wei again. Li Wei closed her eyes in fear and continued, what I said is true. Your biological father will die when you are in your early 40s. You buried him and your mother together in the east of Yanjing. Which one is more specific? I can't remember the way. You built an ancestral hall near the cemetery to accept worship from your descendants. It was at that time that everyone knew that you adopted a child. All I knew was that the child was 5 or 6 years old at the time. These. Ying Cixi felt a pain in her heart. She still had no mother in her previous life. Did Uncle Shen, who claimed to compensate her, die in his 60s? Li Wei noticed that the force that restrained her had loosened. Seize the opportunity and run away. Until you are exhausted and have to stop. Looking back, he saw that Ying Cixi had not caught up with him, so he relaxed and collapsed to the ground. The injured leg has a dull pain. Damn Ying Cixi, never expect to become the richest man in this life. Set up a stall, right? You wait. I won't ask you to go in and squat, you have nothing but money and goods, so you don't have the surname Li. Ying Cixi carried her bag and walked along the road in despair. Li Wei's words kept echoing in my ears. She wished it was false. But I have to admit that it has a lot of credibility. Otherwise, Li Wei would not have risked her reputation to marry Feng Shuangzi. Acei is so smart, but he never managed to get into college in his previous life. It's unbelievable. She suddenly remembered that the old lady once said that she dreamed that she became a great person. Could it be that the old lady could also perceive the same thing as Li Wei? She took a ride to the old lady's residence. When he saw the old lady, his eyes couldn't help but turn red, and he threw himself at the old lady. Grandma, woo-woo. The old lady was at a loss. She admitted that she had seen Shen Yushan a lot these days, but she no longer acted as a lobbyist. Si, what's going on? Who bullied you? Banquet speech? Or your parents-in-law, or your father is pestering you? None of them. Ying Cixi cried for a while, her mood calmed down a little, and she let go of the old lady. I miss my mother. The old lady couldn't help wiping away tears. Why don't you go back and have a look? It was just in time to send her back to her hometown. Yang Sisi shook her head. A dry grave would only make her sad when she saw it. Grandma, you said you dreamed about my future, but have you ever dreamed about my mother? Where's Uncle Shen? And ACI, can you tell me about it? The situations you have dreamed about are all the same. Can I say it again? I want to hear it, Grandma, I really want to hear it. The old lady was puzzled that this child was strange. Shouldn't she be allowed to mention Xiao Shen? It was a rare occasion that she took the initiative to mention it, so she could put in a good word for Xiao Shen. She pondered for a while and said, "Of course I have all dreamed about it. I even dreamed that your mother hid it in the comb she left for you. Your father wore that comb every day and talked to your mother about it from time to time. Women's dead. Your mother was very sad when she heard this and regretted arguing with your aunt. If she had not had a conflict with your aunt, she might not have fallen down and had difficulty giving birth. Your mother has the habit of reading newspapers, and your father said that he had contacted you in the newspaper. She will definitely be able to see the newspaper, and your family of 3 can be reunited. Such a pity. In my dream, your father never married and was over 60 years old. Alas, his old illness relapsed and he passed away. You take your son with Yancy and worship him." Yang Sisi decided to confirm whether the comb was carried by Uncle Shen. She then asked, "How old does my son look? What about ACI? I must have been 5 or 6 years old at that time. He didn't look like you two, but he was just as handsome and polite. He had a gloomy temper and called me too naughty. Sometimes he had a straight face and sometimes he smiled. His personality was similar to Yancey's. Sometimes hot and cold. When I grow up, I am very good. Whether it is studying or working, I am the best among my peers. In my dream, you had a husband, and you were never divorced from that man. Yancey stayed abroad and never came back. He has always worked and lived there. Your children were also brought up by him. I can't remember the dream I had some time ago." Yang Sisi secretly clenched her fist. Does her son also have a dual personality? The age matches what Li Yue said. And she and ACI were destined to be husband and wife. So in this life, they are justified. As for Uncle Shen, he had to protect his body. She didn't recognize him and didn't want him to leave so early. Si, let the past pass with the wind. Let us look forward to the future. Your dad misses you so much and you don't recognize him. It's good to visit him more often, the old lady suggested cautiously. Yang Sisi neither agreed nor objected. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 344. The old lady guessed that the child was in a dilemma. This is a good start. Xiao Shen came over tomorrow and she told him to make him happy too. She poured a glass of water for Yang Sisi. "Sisi, drink some, I see your lips are a little dry." Yang Sisi is indeed thirsty. Hold the glass of water and drink it in one go. After waiting for his emotions to calm down completely, he started to worry about business again and said feebly, "My business is not doing well. I didn't open a single order all morning." The old lady comforted her and said, "Don't worry. When I was young, the men I saw doing business all had a lot of difficulties when it came to starting. You are a girl, so doing things must be more difficult. Everything must have a process." Yang Sisi, "That's what I said, but the cabinets at my house are full of goods. Today I met Li Yue, Li Junlu's daughter. She found me setting up a stall. If she succeeds in reporting me, the things at home will become my evidence. You've anticipated it, so avoid it in advance." "How is your luck?" Yang Sisi was worried. "How many?" 200 cans, one can weigh 1.5 pounds, think about it. "Old lady, there are so many. Let Yan see I think of something. He reads a lot and has a lot of ideas. Ying Sisi was going to go to the mall again to see how the goods on the counter were selling. Grandma, I suddenly remembered that there are still some things that need to be dealt with. I will accompany you another day. You are busy with your business. Ying Sisi rushed to the counter of the shopping mall selling toiletries. The teller recognized her and said without waiting for her to speak, "Girl, you're here, I've been waiting for you for a long time. Your hair growth cream is very popular here, but it was empty in the afternoon. Please wait here for a while. I'll call the director to come over and talk to you." Ying Sisi was very excited. Finally heard some good news. When the director arrived, he said, "Miss Ying, please come over here and let's talk about the supply in detail." Okay. Ying Sisi walked in front carrying her bag. The director's surname was Yet. He walked in and said directly, "Miss Ying, it's like this. We plan to cooperate with you for a long time with your hair growth cream, but there is a condition. From now on, we will not care about your goods in other cities. We can only supply them in Yanjing. Give us." Ying Sisi did not show any stage fright and said, "How can that be done? This district can only supply you. The 4 districts of Yanjing have such a large population and a huge market. She wants to make money, so sales naturally have to cover the entire city. Although her current production capacity cannot keep up. But she cannot block the road ahead for the sake of immediate interests." She said, "It is impossible for people from the east of the city to come to the south of the city to buy your products. Why do you need to grab exclusives? Furthermore, the factory where I work is relatively small and the current equipment is relatively backward. It also produces other toiletries and hair growth products. The output of ointment is not large. I can't provide it to you, and I can't take care of it elsewhere." She said forcefully, "If you can fulfill my request, I will sell it to others." Since the sales here are good, it means that there is still a market for her products. She just waited for the opportunity. Director Ye thought about it for a while and said, "Okay." He held up an agreement, indicating that her hair growth cream, in the south of the city, would only be provided to him. "Miss Ying, after reading it, you have no problem signing it?" Ying Sisi signed her name neatly. "The medicinal materials in our factory are transported from the mountains. The production process is complicated and time-consuming. If the materials are sufficient, the goods will definitely be available. But if there is a delay on the road, it will be postponed for a few days, and I hope you will forgive me." "That's no problem." Director Yes said, "I want to buy 200 cans now. Can you deliver it now?" Okay. Ying Sisi's eyes were bright. She happened to have 200 bottles of goods. This just solved her worries. Deliver the goods with one hand and pay with the other hand. I hope you will prepare the full payment. Okay. Ying Sisi left the mall, but she was worried about transporting goods. Such a tight time frame. How to get her goods out of the family home? Where to take it out and put it? She squatted on the roadside and thought. I saw a large truck passing by and had an idea. Go to the transportation team and ask the truck driver for help on the grounds that transportation is needed. The captain of the transportation team saw that she was beautiful and spoke softly, and promised to pay for the gas and remuneration afterwards. He immediately agreed to help. After asking for her address, he asked for 10 yuan as reward. Ying Sisi's flesh aches. Does a trip cost 10 yuan? She finally understood why the girls in the family home preferred the driver for a blind date. So rich. Ying Sisi gets into the other person's car. The captain glanced at her quickly. Girl, do you have a partner? Ying Sisi was about to say yes, but she remembered that the last time she bought a bicycle, the guy knew that she had a partner and scolded her. She concealed that she had a partner. Not yet. Do you? And I think it's okay. Ying Sisi, this is too straightforward. Are all men so purposeful? She excused herself. I'll ask my dad when I get home. The boss is alone, so he can't make his own decisions about who he wants to be with. Well, I listened to my elders. Ying Sisi asked him about his family situation. I learned that he has 3 brothers, and he is the eldest. One of the younger brothers is an accountant and the other is still studying. She said, "It's pretty good. My dad should be able to agree. You can help me with the freight first." Hey, when the captain heard that there was something going on, he was so happy that the car started to click. Arrived at the gate of the family courtyard. When I saw the guard holding a machine gun, I felt discouraged. "What's your father's position here? Can you like me as a driver?" "Ordinary staff, don't be too nervous." After Ying Sisi registered, the gatekeeper opened the door and let her go. Arrived downstairs. The captain said, "Shall I move upstairs with you? I have no one at home. If my neighbors see me, they will talk about me. You wait here while I move it myself." Ying Sisi went home to pack the box she had used when she got married and put the hair cream in it. One box can hold 50 cans. After the 2 boxes were full, 2 more sacks were used. She lifted the sack down first. The driver saw her carrying a marijuana bag in one hand and his eyes popped out. "You are so strong." It looked so heavy that he felt like he couldn't move it. "Yeah, natural brute strength." The driver secretly wiped his sweat. The daughter followed her father. The girl was born with such strength, how could her father still do it? Knowing that he covets her, you can't punch him in the eye. He said, "The payment of 10 yuan cannot be less than 1 penny. Ying Sisi didn't understand. She didn't intend to lose his money. "Oh, okay." She moved down the remaining 2 boxes. The retired aunt upstairs and downstairs came back from exercising. "Sisi, what did you do? Such a big box and a sack." "Ying Sisi, my grandma in the countryside has moved to the city and needs some daily necessities. I don't need these at home, so I gave them to her to save money." Everyone doesn't know much about Ying Sisi's family situation. They only know that she is a girl from the countryside. Is your grandma going to the city to take care of her old age? Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 345. Chapter 345. The real first pot of gold. Ying Sisi, originally, I planned to retire here, but she is not used to it and wants to go back all the time. I'm used to living in the countryside, but I'm really not used to the city. I don't even know anyone when I go out, and my expenses are high. Even though Yan Si has been admitted to college, he hasn't received any subsidies after all. It's like your parents-in-law are supporting you. The couple plus your grandma are under great financial pressure. Ying Sisi didn't explain, just smiled. "Yeah." The transportation captain was confused. "In-laws? Have a partner? Damn girl, you don't know how to blush when you lie." Fortunately he was not fooled. The more beautiful a woman is, the less trustworthy she will say next time. He drove with a temper and braked suddenly when he reached the destination designated by Ying Sisi. Ying Sisi sat very securely, paid before getting off the car, and said, "Thanks, brother, this is the fare. I will give you an apple to quench your thirst, please excuse me." "Humph, you said you were single when you were married." Ying Sisi accepted the blame and did not dare to reply. "Deliver goods silently. Where do you live? Do you want some help?" The captain saw that she was a woman, carrying big and small bags, and there was no one around to help. He also took other people's money, so he should unload the goods. "No, you can just look after it for me, okay?" "Can." Ying Sisi felt relieved and easily walked through the alley carrying the sack and went around to the shopping mall warehouse. "Have someone do the counting. Then return to the unloading area. The captain is still here." Ying Sisi smiled and said, "Thank you, you are such a good person. If I have the goods tomorrow, can I contact you? I can add money." she said as she stacked the boxes. Captain, damn it. This Neujin, whoever marries her and dares to disobey her will not be able to behave like a grandson if he punches her. Our transportation team doesn't accept all jobs. If you have a partner, let's say goodbye. He got into the car neatly, started and left. Ying Sisi. Ying Sisi moved the boxes to the place. Director Ye was surprised. You are such a strong girl. Please take inventory, Ying Sisi said. Director Ye counted the quantity and randomly checked the quality. The quantity is right and the quality is good. Your product should be packed in a regular carton. Ying Sisi was very tired and her voice was unsteady. You wanted it in a hurry, I didn't have time to pack it. The cost of wholesale cartons has gone up again. Why? Use money everywhere. Forget it this time, make sure to pack it next time. Ying Sisi agreed wholeheartedly. Director Ye calculated it for her together with the account of the trial items that were put here last time. It's a total of 313 yuan. After deducting the fraction, I'll give you 301. Okay, Ying Sisi didn't want to argue. Received the money and counted it again. My heart has already flown away. Earn money. The money I earned before was a gift from God. This time is the real first pot of gold. She did not go back to the courtyard with the box in her arms, but took a car to the old lady's house. What are you sending? An empty box for you to put your things in. Ying Sisi happily shared her business. The old lady was happy for her. It was impossible to tell at noon, but it will be fine now. There will be a way for the car to reach the mountain. It is true at all. The box is exactly what I need, to put the nutrition sent by your father. Taste. Ying Sisi, I see that you don't eat much of this food. Can I sell it for you and make some money? How embarrassed am I if your father finds out? The old lady disagreed with the sale. You can take it and eat it. I have them at home. Ying Sisi thought of the nutritional supplements at home, which were sent by her father-in-law, but many of them were packaged the same as the old lady's. Coincidence? Or did he ask his father-in-law to send it to him? Sisi, are you hungry? Can you stay here for dinner? I'm hungry. I haven't eaten lunch yet. I want to eat the fish pot stickers you made, Ying Sisi said. Okay, the young man downstairs in our house often fishes outside and keeps it at home. I'll exchange it for noodles. The old lady took the noodles and went out. Ying Sisi rested on the bed and fell asleep at some point. When I wake up, the aroma of food fills my nose. She opened her eyes and it was already dark outside. The lights are on in the house. The old lady is sitting on a chair, wearing reading glasses and doing needlework. She stood up and called, "Grandma." The old lady turned around and smiled kindly, "Are you awake? I see you are sleeping soundly and I don't have the heart to wake you up. The meal is ready, come and eat." She put down what she was doing and opened the lid of the pot. "Let's eat around here. When the pot stickers are served, they taste half as good." Okay. Ying Sisi looked at the time and saw that it was already 6 o'clock. After washing, she sat next to the stove and started cooking. She put down her chopsticks when she was full and said, "I'm so full. It's time for me to go back." "Are you still leaving now? Can you get a ride?" "Let's go back on foot." As soon as Ying Sisi finished her voice, there was a knock on the door from outside. The old lady opened the door and Qin Yancy stood outside. Ying Sisi was surprised. "ACI, how did you know I'm here?" "I just know." Qin Yancy returned home and found that the box containing quilts and winter clothes was missing. There is not a can left in the closet. Going downstairs to inquire, he met two ladies on the same floor. They asked him if he was looking for Sisi. They said that when Sisi passed noon, the same driver loaded several large boxes of things to visit the old lady, and that's when he found her. "I haven't eaten yet either," he said. The old lady scolded, "If Sisi doesn't cook, you won't eat. What kind of person are you? Qin Yanxi lowered his eyes to accept the criticism. You wait, I'll cook you some noodles, the old lady said, but she took care of him in her actions. Yang Sisi should put away the dishes and wash them in the sink. Qin Yanxi followed, and when he arrived at the place, he said in a voice that only the two of them could hear, have you taken action on the hair growth cream in the cabinet? Yeah, I got this number. Yang Sisi put down the bowl and plate and made a few strokes. Qin Yanxi was happy for her. Yang Sisi focused her eyes on his face, recalling Li Yuwei's words. She said, what will you do if you don't get into college? Qin Yanxi thought seriously, I haven't thought about it in detail. Maybe I will follow Lao Qin's arrangements. With my temper, I will probably pack up and go home after working for a long time. If I hadn't met you, I might have accomplished nothing. Only after I met you can I lucky. The daughter-in-law is optimistic by nature and is also an activist. Bold but cautious. Being with her can make him feel at peace and find the goal for his struggle. Yang Sisi once again confirmed Li Yuwei's words. She was much calmer and smiled, how can I be that good? In my heart, it is the best, Qin Yanxi said sincerely. Yang Sisi's smile became brighter and brighter, then you must repay me well. Well, I'll repay you after the menstrual period has passed. You'd better not repay the favor. Yang Sisi washed the dishes and returned. The old lady had just put the noodles into the pot and asked, is this enough for the banquet? Enough. Old lady, what have you been busy with recently? Are your eyes not afraid of light anymore? Qin Yanxi's eyes averted for a moment. Yeah. Old lady, you look good with glasses and look elegant. Qin Yanxi's face turned dark. What does it mean? Is he ugly without glasses? Appearing uneducated. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 346. Chapter 346 Search. Yang Sisi saw that he was angry again, and immediately said, why do I think it looks good without wearing it? Qin Yanxi's eyes were filled with shock. Could he understand that his wife liked him the most? She must have had no choice but to be with that person. Because once you offend that person and that person goes crazy and hurts this body, he will also be injured. The old lady noticed something unusual in Qin Yan's speech and wisely changed the subject. The noodles are ready. Yang Sisi took a bowl of noodles, waited for Qin Yanxi to finish, washed the kitchen utensils, said goodbye to the old lady, and took the back seat of Qin Yanxi's car to go home. There was no one on the road. She told Qin Yanxi about her business experience in the past few days and what happened today. Qin Yanxi admired her courage. If it were me, if I was rejected by others once, I might give up. You have traveled to so many places. I also wanted to give up, but I couldn't bear the money, so I decided to go for it. But all the difficulties became worth it the moment I received the payment. I plan to go back to my hometown this week and find a reliable medicinal material factory to purchase goods. Will you? Do you want to engrave a seal? Or do you know someone who can engrave a seal for me? One for me and one for the hair growth cream processing factory. Qin Yanxi was sweating it out and engraved the seal privately. If he doesn't agree, will she find someone else? Wouldn't it be troublesome for her if that person had bad intentions? He said, I will prepare it tomorrow. Can you draw a pattern for me on the carton packaging? I'll find a manufacturer to mass produce it myself. Yang Sisi plans to rent another secluded house to store goods, and buy a hand-pushed truck to facilitate delivery. Okay, Qin Yanxi agreed readily. Yang Sisi hugged his waist and pressed her face against his back. ACI, you are so kind. Qin Yanxi, how about you too? Then tell me my advantages. There are so many, I don't know where to start. Dot. The two of them went to the family home while chatting. Open the door. The parents-in-law were sitting upright in the living room, with two middle-aged men in uniform sitting diagonally across from them. Yang Cixi greeted her parents-in-law and asked curiously, "Who are these two?" "We are from the supervision office. Someone reported that you were setting up a street stall and selling cans. The goods were at home. I found your parents and opened the door and found that you were not at home. Your parents said that we would not search until you came back and informed us. We're waiting." As one of them spoke, Qin Yanjun glanced at him. The tone is slightly dissatisfied. Relying on some power, he staged a show in front of them and deliberately delayed time. "The evidence of the crime will be in front of you later, let's see how you defend yourself." Qin Yanjun felt guilty. "Last time I came here, a layer of medicinal herbs was spread on the balcony. No more this time. Haven't your daughter-in-law turned her into a hair growth cream and left it in the room?" His eyes turned from Qin Yanxi to Yang Cixi, and he saw her saying frankly, "Who reported me? I'm not doing business. You can search and check as you like. She also sells cans. It was Li Yue who did it, right? He went to the supervisory office and made nonsense without investigating clearly. The same way you look at men, and the same way you look at things. Idiot." Qin Yanjun was relieved and confident, "I won't cut you until I can find out." The two exchanged glances. One person said, "I'm offended." They checked everything from the entrance cabinet, the TV cabinet, the cupboard, all kinds of furniture that can hide things, and every corner. There are cans, but only 2 bottles. It is a popular dish among the public. They can be found in any shopping mall. Qin's mother praised Yang Cixi, "You even tidy the cabinets so neatly, the cupboards in the kitchen. There is a row of glass jars below, containing pickles and hot sauce. The bottle is labeled with spicy, mildly spicy, etc. Put nuts in the upper glass jar. The bowls and chopsticks are arranged neatly on the middle layer. There is not a single clutter in the house. This alone is much more than you Chun." Qin Yanjun stood with his hands behind his hands. "You saw that there is nothing at home. Who reported it? You should tell me, right? It's a person named Li Yue, who lives in Zikan district." One person explained the address, Qin district. "We also act according to the rules. Since this matter is a misunderstanding, we will definitely criticize the reporter." "Oh, you come here with great fanfare, and a misunderstanding is all it takes." Qin Yanxi interrupted, "Dad, forget it. If you are upright, you will not be afraid of the shadow. They have found out the truth and cleared us, so they gave up. It is a fact that the daughter-in-law is doing business." Lao Qinruo was holding on to this matter, and the people at the supervisory office became anxious and took it seriously. How troublesome is it to find the evidence? Qin Yanjun also understood this and walked down the steps given by Qin Yan. "Just do what you say." The two supervisors secretly breathed a sigh of relief. They were under pressure when they came. Qin Yanjun did not allow them to search. They thought he was guilty and deliberately made excuses not to allow the search. Who knows, they really don't have the goods. Why? I worked in vain all night and even offended others. Poor luck. After the two left, Qin Yanjun said, "Yanxi, I have something to tell you." He took the lead to enter the guest room, and when Qin Yanxi closed the door, he said, "Tell the truth, have you done any business? Is it canned food or hair growth cream? There has to be preparation here." Qin Yanxi admitted, "The hair growth cream was just shipped today, so they didn't find it." Qin Yanjun was so frightened that he sat down on the chair. "You two are so brave. Is it SIC's idea?" "My idea." Qin Yanxi took matters into his own hands. Qin Yanjun scolded, "Don't brag in front of me. With your temper, can you save face and sell goods?" Yang Cixi overheard the conversation in the room from outside and said to Qin's mother, "Mom, You watch TV first, and I will bring some tea to Dad and a ci. Yang Sisi poured tea and came to the door of the room. ACI, it's me. Qin Yanxi opened the door from the inside. After Yang Sisi entered, he put the tea on the table. Dad, I am responsible for the business and it has nothing to do with ACI. Qin Yanjun, it's not like our family can't afford to support you, that's all for you. I plan to be self-reliant, Yang Sisi promised. After this incident, I will not do it in the future. Qin Yanjun felt much relieved. That's not bad. How much profit can you make to ignore the regulations and put the goods in your family home? Yang Sisi stretched out 3 fingers. Just for 30 yuan, our family almost got into trouble. Qin Yanjun was furious. 2 ancestors. I will send you your living expenses tomorrow, and you two just stay at home. Yang Sisi, it's 310 yuan. I've calculated that if everything goes well, I can make $1,000 a month. Qin Yanjun took a breath of cold air. How much is 1,000? Isn't it only 10,000 a year? He said, is that the hair growth cream? So many people buy it? Well, I have already negotiated the supply with the mall and am about to go back to my hometown to buy materials for production. If you can help me cover, I am willing to share 30% of the income with you. Qin Yanjun, she is even trying to seduce her. Who does she think she is? Don't even think about it, just stay at home. Yang Sisi said politely, oh. Please vote. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 347. Chapter 347. She is quite scheming. Qin Yanjun told her and warned her to leave the guest room, and said to Qin's mother in the living room, go home. Hey, by the way, Sisi, my colleague at my work asked me to bring her 2 cans of shampoo. She wants to give it away, so you can ask your friend to buy 2 cans for me. Let them go to the mall to buy by themselves. If you join in, you might think we are doing business. Qin Yanjun strode out. It's an easy thing. How can you get angry when you say it comes? Qin's mother said angrily, then turned around and said, Sisi, don't forget it. Yang Sisi, Mom, I bought it at Jinnan department store. Please let her go there to buy it. Didn't I say before that Yanjing didn't have one? I saw it accidentally when I was shopping, but the price is a bit expensive, 3 yuan. 3 yuan, I was paying you 2 yuan before. It's only been a few days and it's increased by 1 yuan. Yang Sisi, 3 yuan can last for more than half a year. Calculated, it's less than 50 cents a month. For those of you with high incomes, it's very cheap. Moreover, if you use it for 2 consecutive months without any effect, it will be refunded. This is what she said when she was promoting. The mall has also made a commitment to customers in this way. That's a good idea, I'll tell her later. Qin's mother hurriedly chased Qin Yanjun. Yang Sisi didn't even have time to see him off. After watching the other party go downstairs, she went back to the house and closed the door. She took out the proceeds from the transaction and counted them. She was overjoyed. 1 penny is a lot. Qin Yanxi was amused by her movements and language. The way you count the money, you look very greedy for money. Hey, people die for money and birds die for food. You have been well fed since you were a child, and you don't understand the poor's desire for money. That's an exaggeration. I have never been rich and well fed, I am just slightly better off than ordinary people. You are not poor now either. Qin Yanxi refuted her words one by one, pondered for a moment and said, will the business of buying and selling continue? Yang Sisi said, we'll wait for now. She had just been investigated and didn't dare to act rashly. I plan to stay away for 10 days and a half, and use this time to find a secluded and safe house for inventory. ACI, you still have to draw your pictures, and I have to worry about the seal. Okay. Yang Sisi collected the money and went to bed. Get up early the next day and go out to look for an apartment. At the end of the day, I was dissatisfied with everything. Either it's not secretive enough, or it's not safe enough. For several days, she was busy running about the house. At noon that day, she had just finished viewing the house. When she passed by a tea house, she went in and ordered a pot of tea and 2 cakes. 65 cents, the waiter said. After Yang Cixi paid the money, the tea was served. While drinking the tea, a familiar voice came. "Si." Yang Cixi was thinking about how to meet him, and she unexpectedly met him today. When he walked in front of her, she pulled down the rubber band that bound her hair without leaving a trace, and let her hair spread, with a few strands covering her face. Tease. Soon I heard a burst of laughter. You are still as charming as before. This girl is quite good at things. She knows she looks beautiful with her hair down, right? Just scratch her head. The word "zi" was not spoken out. Yang Cixi's small face sighed. The man is about 40 years old, of medium build, good looking, neither fat nor thin. What nonsense are you talking about? Shen Yuxian cut him off. Your daughter, she's exactly like you. Miss, your pastries are ready. Yang Cixi turned her eyes and thanked her, took the teapot and poured tea, then put it on the opposite side first. Shen Yuxian realized that the tea was for him, and he felt excited and sat down immediately. Lao Lu, I have something to do right now, you go back to the guest house first, I'll wait for you. Looking for you. Lao Lu is speechless. I have only seen people who forget their loyalty due to sex, but I have never seen people who don't want to be old friends when they meet their daughter. They have been separated for 20 years, right? We just saw each other last time, when can we not see my daughter again? Nor would he introduce him to his daughter. Just drive him away? Are you afraid that he will propose marriage for your own son? Who is it? Okay, he replied through gritted teeth and left. Cixi, this is your mother's death anniversary, can I go back to your hometown with you? Shen Yuxian said in a humble manner. Mentioning mother, look at him again. Yang Cixi thought of what Li Yue had said to the old lady, and her heart became heavy. She remained silent for a long time and said, okay. Shen Yuxian felt that he was in a dream. His daughter, who had always resisted him, actually agreed to his proposal. He didn't know what to say for a moment, and he searched his mind for a long time before he came up with the topic. Have you eaten? Eating. Eat these, are you full? I'll take you to a restaurant to eat well. I don't want to go. Shen Yuxian was speechless again and just watched Yang Cixi eating cakes and drinking tea. The love in my heart is indescribable. Yan Li said, for the sake of the 2 children, he should bypass Shen Ru. But when did Shen Ru give him face? The 2 siblings have been studying together since childhood, eating and living together. He tells her everything. When she encounters difficulties, he rushes to the front to solve everything for her. Every time it comes to the birthdays of the 2 children, he takes care of everything. Contribute money and effort. And his Xian died in a cold earthen house when she was only 20 years old. My biological daughter has never been to school for a day. At a young age, she traveled around to make ends meet and suffered a lot. Every time he thinks about this, he has the intention to kill. Yang Cixi finished 2 plates of cakes and drank half a pot of tea. I want to leave. She stood up and went out. Shen Yuxian followed. Yang Cixi went outside, her hair was messed up by the wind, and she randomly scraped it twice with her fingers to prepare for pricking it. There was an extra comb in front of her, and Yang Cixi lowered her eyes. It was the one the old lady had sent to her. He actually carried this comb with him. The old lady said that the mother in the dream is hidden in the comb. Can you see the sun? She grabbed it and returned to the tea house. Shen Yuxian was stunned for a second, then recovered and chased into the hall. There was no trace of Yang Cixi anywhere. Repented of giving him the comb, deliberately spread his hair, induced him to hand over the comb, and then ran away. She is quite scheming. The legs run so fast. You don't know how to go to the toilet? You should comb your hair in the bathroom and hold the comb carefully. Quietly request. Mom, if you are really in there, can you help me dream tonight? Tell me whether you blame Uncle Shen or not. If you don't complain, I will recognize him. Si Shen Yushin's voice came. Ying Sisi put away her comb, gathered her emotions and walked out. Si, I have to give back the comb. Ying Sisi held the comb, hesitated, and finally gave it back to him. I'll leave first, you can do it yourself. Where are you going? I didn't see your car outside, so I'll see you off. Shen Yushin put away his comb and followed her out of the hall. Ying Sisi took 2 steps to the roadside and stopped. I'm looking for a house, I don't need you to send it. Looking for a house, are you quarreling with Yancy, are you ready to move out? No. Ying Sisi made an excuse at random, let's stay here occasionally. Shen Yushin, avoid him. If he treats you badly, just give him 2 slaps. If he dares to fight back, you will fight with him. If you win, he will be unlucky. If you lose, I will beat him to death. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 348. Chapter 348 Planning. Ying Sisi, it's not good, men won't like it. It doesn't matter if he likes it or not, the worst we can do is not get along with him. I will support you for the rest of my life, Shen Yushin said. He couldn't bear to let his daughter suffer any further injustice. You are over 40, how can you support me all my life? I heard that your health is not very good. Ying Sisi felt inexplicably sad. He looked so young, but he only lived to be more than 60 years old. Shen Yushin thought she was caring about him. He had undergone several major surgeries. Although he recovered well, there were some sequelae. At first he didn't care. Now he is very afraid of death. He is afraid that his daughter will have many twists and turns in her life without his protection. He now wants to live a long life, guard her, and protect her. He said happily, do you care about me? Ying Sisi lowered her eyelashes and interrupted, I'm looking for a house, so I won't talk to you anymore. There are many safe and secluded houses in our area. Ying Sisi, I won't rent your place. The houses near his home must be very expensive. A CI said that in order to facilitate the entry and exit of cars, every road there is wider than in other places. Thinking of this, she had a new perspective on renting a house. At this moment, she happened to see a tram coming towards her not far away, and she ran quickly. Shen Yushin thought that his extravagance had made her angry, so he anxiously called her name, Si. Ying Sisi waved in response. Seeing this, Shen Yushin's impatient heart calmed down. Just don't be angry with him. Ying Sisi quickly plans the route after getting in the car. Transfer to a bus near the cigarette factory on the way. Looking at the roads extending in all directions, the transportation vehicles coming and going. She made up her mind to find a house here and use it as a workshop for making hair growth cream. Later she learned to drive and drove a truck directly to the door to deliver goods. Even if someone saw it, they wouldn't pay attention, right? She posted the information that she wanted to rent a house on the nearby residence bulletin board and left her contact address, preparing to go home and wait for news. When I got off the car and walked to the family courtyard, I saw Feng Shuangzi. He stepped forward and said, Sister, it's time to see you. Ying Sisi learned from Li Yue that she and Feng Shuangzi had been married, and they couldn't get along well. Now that they met, there was no reason to give him a big mouth. What are you calling eldest sister? Don't call me eldest sister from now on. Li Yue and I are no longer sisters. Do you know the reason? She reported me for doing business and summoned the people from the supervision office to my house. The trouble became known to the neighbors. Now when I go out, others stared at me as if I had really done business and was a speculative evil person, my mother-in-law said when she came to the family home yesterday. Lu Yuechun and his family moved out. Ask her and ACI when they will go back to live in the courtyard. If it weren't for Li Yue's interference, she would have made a lot of money by making her hair growth cream in the courtyard. Where is the need to look for a house? As for director yet, the goods have been sold out. Hand order 500 more cans immediately. But now she doesn't even dare to bring in the materials, so how can she have any goods? All I have to say is that the factory is rushing out other goods, so the hair growth cream will be about half a month late. She got very angry when she thought about this. Feng Shuangzi seemed to suddenly realize, I asked why she didn't dare to come to you. It turns out that you were the one who had her suspended from her job. I will ask her to apologize to you. Suspension, Ying Cixi quickly understood, she was suspended because she reported me without any basis and was judged by the supervisor to be provoking trouble. Her unit was notified, and her superiors punished her. She didn't make a self-examination, but asked you to find me. Where did she get her face? When you go to work, ask your colleagues what kind of circumstances would lead to suspension, and whether your boss has the right to suspend you without reason. My father-in-law and Uncle Shen, the only way they can deal with Li Junlu now is to have him wear small shoes and give him a verbal warning. As long as Li Junlu can withstand the difficulties and destruction of others, he can work at his job until retirement. The name Big Feng Shuangzi didn't escape his lips, and Ying Cixi clenched his fists. He was so frightened that he turned and ran away. Ying Cixi, if you dare to call me sister again, I will beat you to the ground. Feng Shuangzi, Feng Shuangzi returned home disappointed, and asked Li Yue angrily, you are a seductress, you are itching all over if you are not a demon, right? Why did you report Ying Cixi to do business? I lost her as a supporter. You prodigal bitch, I really want to smoke die to you. Li Yue was devastated. How could she live like this after she was reborn? Marrying Qin Yanxi makes people jump all over the place. It would be the same if it were Feng Shuangzi. Why can't she find a good man? I'm talking to you, or you mute. Feng Shuangzi was ignored, and his head became hot, so he grabbed Li Yue's hair and tore it. Li Yue was in pain, regained her composure and struggled to fight back, you useless man. You are not even as good as a woman. I am so fond of you, what about you? I am so disappointed in you. Feng Shuangzi felt even more angry. He is useless. He is now a man holding an iron rice bowl. His parents praise him for his glorious ancestors, but she actually scolds him for being useless. You are promising, but your salary is only half of mine. You have the nerve to be disappointed in me. I am truly disappointed in you. When we first met him, he said that he liked him. Whether he is poor or rich, she follows him. Because of her words, he broke up with his former friends, changed his mind, and started a new life. Now that he has a stable job, she actually dislikes him everywhere. There must be someone outside, that's why we dislike him so much. Unwilling to be lonely, watery. I got my job based on my ability. What does it mean for you to rely on a woman? In Li Yue's eyes, the mature, steady, affectionate and dedicated boss of the shopping mall in her previous life has become worthless at this moment. I want to divorce you. Just leave. If I leave you on such a good condition, I will find someone better. Feng Shuangzi also looked down on Li Yue at this moment. Li Yue said disdainfully, are you in good condition? You don't care about your family conditions. And you only have your job because of me. Without me, you can't keep your job. Really? Then why, according to Cixi's wishes, even your leader can't decide whether you will stay or go? I am also a member of the government, so this sentence also applies. Don't even think about bluffing me. Feng Shuangzi went back to the house to clean up. Stuff, I plan to move it back to my home. When I went out, I happened to meet Lee Junlu and Song Hanmei. Lee Junlu has changed a lot since Feng Shuangzi started working hard. Double happiness, what is this? Your daughter wants to divorce me, don't you know? She went to the supervisory office to report Yang Sisi for doing business, but no evidence was found. This morning, her work unit was informed that she was provoking quarrels and causing trouble, and her work was suspended. Job. Lee Junlu staggered and pointed at Li Yue for a long time. Song Hanmei scolded, "You prodigal son, I don't dare to say anything wrong with Yang Sisi now. How dare you? Now that your father and I have become the grassroots of the unit, you are the only one in the family who has not been targeted by them. Feng Shuangzi, even I have a job. Now, I can't live anymore. Please vote." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 349. Chapter 349, Being Angry. Li Yue feels guilty, distressed, and angry. Various emotions are intertwined. In her previous life, she was unable to fulfill her filial piety to her parents, and she was also impoverished and wasted her life. Finally got a chance to make a new choice, but lost to Yang Sisi, a bumpkin from the countryside. Then what is the significance of her rebirth? Witness Yang Sisi's happy life again? Li Junlu comforted Song Hanmei and persuaded Feng Shuangzi to stay. Double happiness, there are a lot of things going on in the family these days, and it's the time of employment. Since we didn't ask you for any gifts, if you forgive Yue, it's just a favor to me. After he finished speaking, he asked Li Yue to apologize. After Li Yue learned the truth, she did not want to waste time on Feng Shuangzi. Considering her parents' mood, she endured it and lowered her attitude. I'm also angry. I really shouldn't say that to you. Feng Shuangzi had already lost his patience with Li Yue. I believe you are evil. He picked up his bag and left without any regrets. Li Junlu sighed helplessly. It seemed that he could only solve the problem personally. Yue, tidy up and come with me. Are you looking for Yang Sisi to apologize? I won't go. Li Yue didn't want to face Yang Sisi's face of being a villain. You can't win after fighting, and you can't win after arguing. Suffering the anger in vain. I'm looking for Yang Sisi's father. If he attacks me later, you can send me to the hospital. Li Yue. Song Hanmei stopped her. You know you're going to be beaten, but you still go. What can we do? We can't ask Yue to be suspended like this, right? Li Junlu got on his bicycle and motioned to Li Yue. I don't want to be a vagrant at home, so hurry up and follow. Li Yue certainly doesn't want to be a vagrant. How decent it is to have a decent job these days. Lost. Who still envies her? She bit the bullet and got into Li Junlu's car. Li Junlu once secretly followed Shen Yuxian and knew the location of his home. We walked through half of the city and didn't arrive at Shen's house until dark. Li Yue used the street lamp to look at the artistic houses around her, and was extremely shocked. She has lived in Yanjing for 2 lifetimes, and for the first time she knows that there are good houses in this era. Even decades later, only the very rich can afford to live there, right? How come it's so good to follow Sisi's orders? Her biological father must have helped in this matter, otherwise how could it be so easy to escape? Those who take the back door will die. Li Junlu pulled the knocker and knocked on the door. After a moment, the door opened from the inside, and an ant leaned out. Who are you? When we find Shen Yuxian, just say, my name is Li Junlu, and I want to tell him about Yang Xian. Auntie had heard a few words about Shen Yuxian's recent events and knew Yang Xian's identity, but she didn't know who Li Junlu was and thought he was a relative of Yang Xian, So she opened the door to let him and Li Yue into the courtyard. Li Yue looked left and right after entering the house. French windows, chandeliers, and exquisite leather sofas and chairs. Everything is reflected in her aesthetics. How wonderful it would be if this were her home. God is really unfair. All the benefits go to Ying Sisi. You guys sit down first, I'll go upstairs and call my boss. After the voice fell, Shen Yushin appeared at the stairs on the second floor. Hair is wet, obviously just washed. Wear a casual outfit, casual and casual. What are you doing here? Li Junlu glanced at his aunt. Auntie is very discerning and avoided it immediately. He said, this is my daughter, Yue. Shen Yushin looked over, and Li Yue subconsciously adjusted her hair around her ears. She is a person who has lived an extra life, a mature and stable middle-aged man with superior external conditions. To her, he has his own attraction. He couldn't help but raise his voice, Shen, hello Uncle Shen. Shen Yushin felt goosebumps all over his body. Only my daughter can use this title, you are not allowed to use it. Li Yue, Ying Sisi doesn't care if he calls him daddy. She understood that calling him uncle was Ying Sisi's way of controlling him. What a disgusting method. Then what shall I call you? Shen Yushin was too lazy to answer, so he said to Li Junlu, if you have something to say, say it quickly, and if you have anything to say, let it go. Li Junlu, you must have instigated the suspension of my Yue. Suspended? The position she holds does not belong to my family, so I just stop when I say it. It will not harm future generations. It is your fault. I am only looking for you. Your daughter's suspension is her own reason. What does it have to do with me? Shen Yushin thought for a moment. Understood the reason, is it related to my girl? Li Junlu's heart trembled. Wasn't Shen Yushin obstructing it? He quickly calmed down. Regardless of whether Shen Yushin was causing trouble from behind, he could restrain the opponent with this move. He said, your girl has never been back to my house since she met you. She has cut off contact with us. She was at odds with Yue in the past. This time Yue was suddenly suspended. I doubt her. It is understandable. Stop throwing dirty water on my children. Shen Yushin pointed at the door, get out immediately, or I will throw you out. Li Junlu plucked up the courage, you try. If I don't resume my Yue's job, I will go back to the village to reveal that Ying Sisi is not my biological child. At that time, not only Ying Xian's reputation will be ruined, but Ying Sisi will also be rumored success. He didn't say the word evil. He believed that Shen Yushin understood. What he said is also true. Ying Xian and Shen Yushin had an affair without a matchmaker, and they made a child shameless and slapped him on the head. It is not a pity to die. Shen Yushin was furious, but he was not Qin Yanci, so he couldn't control his emotions. He just looked coldly and said, don't you have any other requests? Li Junlu struck while the iron was hot, my position must also be restored. Shen Yushin, you are so shameless. You always say Xian plotted against you, but you didn't plot against her. Xian is the most diligent and capable girl he has ever seen. She can do anything and is beautiful. Li Junlu married her, whether he continued to live in the country or brought her into the city, it was extremely honorable. It's just that Li Junlu didn't expect that his parents in the city had already disagreed and had already arranged the marriage. He continued, I have to tell you one thing. I wrote a report and now I have a marriage certificate with Xian. She and I are legally recognized husband and wife. She and Sisi are on the Shen family's genealogy. How dare you ruin her reputation and wait for the relevant departments to find you? Li Junlu had expected various endings, but he did not expect that Shen Yushin would actually receive the certificate from a dead person. Shen Yushin called his aunt to see off the guests, and told her that since he had not notified her in advance, even if Mr. Shen came to the door, she would not be able to open the door. Li Junlu was just invited out. He said dejectedly, "Yue, I tried my best." Li Yue was thinking that Shen Yushan was a single man. How can we live without women? Does he have no physical needs? How to solve the needs? That aunt in his family is at least 50 years old. He doesn't look good either, so he can't come with his aunt, right? If he can fall in love with his aunt, she thinks she can do it too. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 350. Chapter 350 is a good idea. If she could climb up to Shen Yushan, Ying Sisi would have to call her aunt. Parents' work, her work, isn't it easy? Thinking of this, she said, it's just a suspension, not a dismissal. I still have a chance. Hasn't she been suspended before? His position was not restored later. A promising person will have many twists and turns in life. This is God's test for her. Dad, what do you think of me marrying Shen Yushan? Li Junlu, what? I said to marry Shen Yushan. He is a man in his 10s and 40s. I am younger than Sisi. In his eyes, I am a young and energetic woman. He will definitely like me. I followed him. Aren't the good days of the family coming? We can still take care of Ying Sisi. Li Junlu actually thought this was a good idea. Shen Yushan's hearing was already superior and had been trained when he was young. Even though he had been away from his original position for many years, he still maintained a high level of vigilance. At this moment, he opened the window from upstairs, grabbed the soil in the flower pot, and threw it to the faraway father and daughter. Ah, Li Yue's face and head were covered with cold soil. Scream. Looking up, Shen Yushan was standing at the window with the light behind him. It was dark and she couldn't see the other person's expression clearly. The next second, I felt a chill in my neck. She took hold of it and spread her palms nervously and suspiciously. Is a slug? She screamed again. Shen Yushan's voice was neither loud nor quiet, just enough for Li Junlu to hear, like father, like daughter. If you want to deal with my daughter, you won't even have a chance. Li Junlu was so ashamed and angry that he got on his bicycle and left. Even though Li Yue was chasing after her, she tripped and fell, knocking her head and bleeding. Oh, why is my life so miserable? Even an old man doesn't want her. Is she that bad? Li Yue is in a difficult situation. However, after Ying Sisi got the seal given to her by Qin Yanxi, she immediately thought of a way to continue making hair growth cream, which was to go to the medicinal wholesale market to purchase goods. In this way, not only saves costs, but also saves time. Just do it. The next day, she came to the medicinal wholesale market alone. Through observation, she discovered that there were many private clinics in the queue. But when merchants ship goods, they need to see the voucher. This is not a problem for her. Fake seals can be made, as can fake vouchers. After she determines the format and font, go home and ask Qin Yanxi to forge one. No matter how courageous Qin Yanxi was, he would not dare to create a certificate. He refused to answer Sisi for the first time. The certificate of medicinal materials is nothing else. It involves the personal safety of the people. If we are found out, we will have to go in and squat. Is it so serious? Ying Sisi was also very frightened. Well, it makes sense for us to do it ourselves or find others to do it, but it's serious when it comes to credentials. The private clinics you mentioned have credentials. Their credentials are genuine, but they were obtained through improper channels. I'll ask around later. Just get a real certificate. Your factory seal is also illegal, so use it as little as possible. Qin Yanxi couldn't help but give a few more words. Zhang Ye broke the rules, didn't you tell me earlier? Qin Yanxi smiled and scratched her nose. When you have a factory in the future, Zhang will no longer violate the rules. I'm just preparing in advance. Yang Sisi loved hearing this. I will try to have my own processing plant in the future. Li Wei said that she would start a group in the future and become one of the top 500 companies in the world. But right now, she has no future at all. Must start from scratch. Qin Yanxi, you will definitely succeed. Yeah, Ying Sisi didn't have any credentials, so she couldn't get any medicinal materials, so she started browsing the black market again. After wandering for 2 days, she spotted the wolfberry sold by an ant. They are all sold in restaurants, tea shops, and dry goods shops. Don't worry about sales. She did the math, bought them all, and flipped them around, earning about 20 yuan. Just when she was about to pay, out of the corner of his eye, he spotted a young man not far away, his eyes locked on her. She put her hands in her pockets without taking them out again, turned around and walked out. The young man followed her at a short distance. She saw this and went into the alley to avoid him, then hid and looked at him. He searched around and didn't see her. Leaving in a hurry. Yang Sisi followed secretly, but suddenly he was lost. Looking around again, this place is less than 4 miles away from Shen Yuxian's home. Did he find someone to follow her? It shouldn't be. Last time they met, she didn't treat him as coldly as before. If he wants to see her, he can find her. Mr. Shen is currently taking care of his health and can't take care of her. Is Shen are you the person your partner is looking for? Let that person, when she makes the deal, catch her and take the stolen goods, in order to threaten Shen Yuxian to let Shen are you go? The more she thought about it, the more likely it seemed. It's better to be honest for a while, so as not to let others take advantage of her and take advantage of her. She found the tram stop and took the train back home, preparing to pack up and move into her mother-in-law's house. I was confused when I received the photo frame and portrait on the TV cabinet. Today is already the 29th day of the lunar calendar. She remembered that ACI would become another person in the early morning of the first of every month. In one more day, that person will be back, right? Would he be angry if he found out that she didn't bring his photo frame and manuscript? What should you do if you lose your mind in a fit of anger? With this in mind, she brought 2 photos and 2 paintings with her. When Qin Yanxi came back from outside, Yang Sisi had already packed her luggage. ACI, there are so many, isn't it difficult to move? I'll go to the transportation team to find someone to help. Qin Yan resigned. When she returned, she brought with her the captain she had seen last time. You two look at me and I look at you. Qin Yanxi noticed eye contact between the two and glared at the captain. The captain made eye contact with him and then immersed himself in his work. Qin Yanxi moved with him, packed everything up, locked the door, and got into the back compartment of the car with Yang Sisi. Daughter-in-law, do you know that person? Yang Sisi nodded, leaned into his ear and explained that it was the other party's help that shipped the goods that day, but don't worry, he doesn't know that I sell goods. Qin Yanxi nodded slightly, since you know each other, why don't you say hello? There was a sneaky feeling. Yang Sisi cleared her throat and showed a slight guilt, because I told him at that time that I didn't have a partner, so he was willing to come with me. She saw Qin Yanxi's face turn from bright to gloomy, and quickly explained, I told him later, I have someone. Qin Yanxi's expression changed from gloomy to cloudy. Next time. Next time, you still say you have no partner. I am not a stingy person when going out, it is natural to use whatever identity is convenient for you to do things. Yang Sisi came closer and pecked his face. I figured it out, but I still have to say it, otherwise others will think that I intend to deceive and seduce. Qin Yanxi smiled, can't we just say there is a misunderstanding? The word seduce cannot be used carelessly. Okay, you are educated, I will listen to you. Yang Sisi rested her head on his shoulder. I don't know what state they were in when they made substitutions. Last time, ACI seemed to be in a lot of pain. He vomited just after breakfast. His face was pale and he was unsteady on his feet. Her future son will do the same. Just mentioning this makes people feel anxious. How did such a disease come about? Is there a cure? Please vote.